From 2021 to 2025, one of the most common names I ever heard thrown in the ring of who can beat Goku was Ben 10, but not just Ben 10, more specifically Alien X. And the funny part about that is the only real true scale for Alien X that would put him over Goku is just people misconstruing the events of Ben 10 openly to get higher dimensional axes, and not on my watch. So in this video, I'll be going over the main scale for Ben 10 and essentially destroying it and proving why Goku slams. Let's get into it. To start, we have the universe, which is literally the grand totality of Ben 10's cosmology and the place where his entire series takes place. The first thing I want to contest is the argument that the universe is an infinite space that contains an infinite number of dimensional frameworks. The statement in question comes from Dr. Holiday during a Generator Rex and Ben 10 crossover, where she mentions the fact that the world has infinite dimensions in it.
With infinite dimensions, the math doesn't work in your favor, Rex.
And if that's proven true, then Ben's universe is bare minimum multiversal. However, there are many problems with this statement. First, this comes from a Generator Rex and Ben 10 crossover in which Dr. Holiday is the person to make this sentiment. Long story short, she's not reliable. And the reason I say this is because in just earlier scenes in that exact same crossover, she quite literally has problems coming to terms with the fact that parallel worlds even exist in the first place.
You're probably looking at a parallel world thing.
Parallel worlds are a theory, and a shaky one at that.
Are you serious? I go to them all the time.
She mentions that parallel worlds don't exist, and when Ben 10 literally tells her that they do and that he's been to them, she shuts him down and actively says he's lying. She goes from feeling that way to all of a sudden being correct about there being infinite dimensions in the universe. I don't think so. Next up, we have creators and writers being hit up on Twitter to essentially confirm the existence of an infinite multiverse. Now, again, I am going to take this with a grain of salt because my personal opinion and my personal prerogative is that certain statements need to have context in order for it to be taken seriously. Essentially, what I mean by this is there are multiple examples of writers, authors, creators, people of the sort giving cheeky answers and essentially being very sarcastic or very jokey when they're answering questions that they're given from their fans. What I'm saying is, in order to get an actual scale like this, you're gonna need to get some type of context or backing to support this being a serious answer under a serious context. Not to mention, it openly gets contradicted based on Ben himself literally making a statement giving a finite measure to the amount of universes that exist within his multiverse. And just like the other statements, his statement needs reliability backed on it as well. If I'm being honest, this is way too messy to ever make the declaration of there being an infinite number of universes within the Ben 10 multiverse. It's a possibility, but it's a possibility left unsubstantiated. Then we have the multiple different worlds, dimensions, universes, whatever you want to call them. First, we have the null void, which is an infinite 3D space. I'm not going to waste too much time on this. Then we have a Nerfados, which is literally a planet. I'm not going to waste time on this either. The Gorman species also has a bladder dimension in which they quite literally drop off the entirety of their food source there.
Swarm gastronomy. All gourmand stomachs linked to a transspatial bladder dimension. How else do you think they can eat that much?
And people think it's a higher quantitative dimension because of its mention of it being transspatial. However, transspatial just means something beyond or across space. So if you think transspatial in this context means something beyond space, then you would have to prove that definitively. Next, we have dimension 12, which is stated to be pan-dimensional in nature. However, being pan-dimensional just means you refer to all higher and lower dimensions in the scope of reality. Next is the ledger domain, which is a realm that's made up of mana where time flows differently and the rules of physics completely function differently. Again, not proof of a higher spatial axes. There's Generator Rex's universe, the dimensional bezel, and then there's also a hyperspace that's allowed for those that have FTO travel and things of that nature. Then we have the hyper timeline, which people try to get to 5D because it contains all timelines within Ben's universe. However, my issue with this is very simple. Containment does not inherently mean or correlate to transcendence. Something encompassing or holding something else does not refer back to anything beyond a spatial or structural meaning. Something metaphysical or ontologically higher would have to be assumed or proven via context. But yeah, simply containing something does not put you on a qualitative or quantitative level above it. For example, Goku's ki is contained within his body, but does that mean his body now exists on a higher dimensional level than his ki? No. I'll give you a better example. I have a G45 in my room currently right now. If I was to put that G45 in its case, right, the case is containing the gun. But does that mean the case now exists on a higher dimensional axis than the gun? No. So unless y'all have something that affirms the logic of the time stream being dimensionally above, your point's mute. People then say that white void is a 6D construct because of the fact of how it existed before everything did. That would include the dimensions of time and space, which personally the only problem I have with it is the sheer idea that it's 6D, because it stems off the idea that the time stream is 5D, and it's not. Then there's the space beyond, which is the first mention of a higher dimensional existence, so I'll go ahead and give this the 6D tier.
Where are we? There's nothing on my instruments.
Understandable. There's nothing outside either. You see that faint glow in the distance?
A star?
Actually, it's the universe. We're in the space beyond.
Then what's that?
With finally, we have the Forge of Creation. Now, the Forge of Creation is stated to be beyond comprehension, so I would honestly put this at a tier above everything else before it. So I'll comfortably put this at 7D, not a problem. However, there's also one last thing I wanted to mention really quickly because it's going to throw me off, so I'm just going to say this really fast. Alien X is not 25 or 26D. There is no character in Ben 10 that exists in that framework of power. I'm sorry. I am fully aware of Cosmic Mom's statement, and I'm gonna make it really clear to you right now. It doesn't mean what you think. This is string theory, and y'all already know how I feel about string theory, but I'm gonna say it again. This is string theory, and string theory is ass. Like, you motherfuckers just see a high number of dimensions be mentioned. Y'all don't understand how the process or the functions work, and then you wanna make some type of random ass scale off of it. No. M theory / string theory does not function off of higher dimensional axes. It functions on dimensions that are compacted and condensed quite literally to fit into the 4D manifold. They are not higher dimensional axes. So that's why whenever somebody mentions like, oh, it's 26D, it's 25D, I usually take that with a grain of salt because them mentioning that only puts them in the 4D tier comfortably. And they would know this if they knew how string theory works. So no, Cosmic Mom is not hyperversal, Ben 10 isn't hyperversal, Alien X for damn sure isn't hyperversal. These characters are not hyper. So yeah, pure highball by the way, we have the Ben 10 verse located at 7D or complex multiversal. Now let's talk about what Ben 10 does / what Alien X does to put him at these high tiers of strength. So I'm not gonna mention regular Ben feats, instead I'll mention his strongest creation or his strongest power, Alien X. Alien X is a creation of the Omnitrix when the Omnitrix decided to copy the DNA of a celestial sapien. Doing so created the greatest power in the verse, outright. This is stated multiple different times. So powerful to where he could literally destroy and recreate the totality of the universe over and over and over again. I don't think I hear me. He can wipe out 7D constructs over and over and over again, then recreate them and then destroy them, and then recreate them and then destroy them. He's insanely busted. Also, a lot of his hacks on Versus Battle Wiki is kind of bullshit in the first place. Like, I'm gonna be so dead ass right now. Like, 90% of the hacks mentioned here are quite literally just like a result of him destroying the totality of the universe, which is cool, but that's not even really anything I'm worried about. The most that I have to be concerned with is existence erasure and maybe like space-time manipulation. That's it. And some people have also mentioned that he has an existence erasure resistance, but that only really matters to the durability that he has contained within his body. Like, again, if he's a 7D being and he can resist like 7D layers of existence erasure, that's fine. I don't really care. And then for speed, I can just literally give him a measurable. He's above the Omnitrix, which openly reacted to the entirety of any large energy wave, which created the universe as we know now, which literally took the white void and filled it through with the dimensions of space and time.
You found it!
Well, we had a good run, dear friend.
Sorry, I called you a snot rocket.
You never called me a snot rocket.
I saw it.
I can't believe my last words are snot rocket!
He failed! I have dreamed for millennia of this moment, an entire universe in my image! What is happening? You are supposed to be observers. You are not supposed to involve yourself in any event that transpires. What are you doing? We are observed. You cannot do this.
So yes, this would get Alien X above linear time. All in all, Alien X is a 7D being with a measurable speed, but can he beat Goku? No. I have been over my scale way too many times to count, but you know what? Let's do it again. For starters, Kid Buu is stated to be able to make the entirety of the universe go poof. The universe by this moment would include the entirety of the macrocosm. That would mean the afterlife, the living world, and the Kaioshin realm. The afterlife is a non-physical, abstract plane of existence lacking the concept of space and time. Low ball is dimensionally above the living world, and that's the exact same relationship the Kaioshin realm takes with the afterlife. That would make the macrocosm anywhere from 5D to outer versal, and the Kaioshin realm anywhere from 6D to outer versal. Super Saiyan God Goku in the Battle of Gods arc is then called super dimensional, which means he's above the order and the set of dimensions that is in his verse, which will put him at 7D comfortably. Goku then absorbs the God Ki into his base form and still gets even stronger throughout the fight, which would make base Saiyan Beyond God Goku 7D. Stack on a Super Saiyan multiplier and that'd be 50 times, and then also stack on a Super Saiyan 2 multiplier, it'd be 100 times, 3 would be 400, and you can keep going on from there. Keep in mind, I still have not mentioned the God forms yet, or Blue. I haven't mentioned anything yet. I'm only talking about Goku's normal application of God Ki with the addition of his normal ki. That's it. And then speed. Now, speed comes in where Goku quite literally exists in a place where time doesn't exist. The concept of time probably shouldn't exist either. He also literally beats Jiren, who is stated to be able to transcend time, not to mention the multiple outer versal arguments I've given here, which will quite literally lead back to irrelevant speed. So again, a base Goku is anywhere from 7D to outer versal with immeasurable speed feats quite literally out the get-go. And Alien X can only match the 7D benchmark. He cannot go higher than that. He can't even go into higher layers of it. All Goku would have to do is stack on the Kaioken multipliers. That's it. And this man would quite literally have enough power to wipe out 20 Alien X's. Another argument I never really got, but I'm gonna mention for the last piece of the video, is the argument that Ben 10's Omnitrix can copy Goku's Saiyan DNA, and that way Ben will have an equal fight and will have the ability to destroy Goku using his own abilities. The problem with this is real simple. First and foremost, we're already presupposing that Ben would have full control and full mastery over Goku's level of power once he absorbs the DNA. Also, we don't even know if he'll get Goku's full extent of his abilities. We don't even know if he'll get Ki. Let's keep this in mind. Goku does not have Ki because he's a Saiyan. Goku has Ki because he has the ability to control the mental and physical energies within him. If Ben 10 gets Goku's DNA, I doubt the motherfucker will learn how to even charge up his ki properly. I don't even think he'll be able to call it forth, let alone fucking be able to go into Super Saiyan or God forms. And also, here's the problem. If you pay attention to when Ben 10 became Alien X and when the Omnitrix copied a Celestial Sapien's DNA, it made him as strong as a Celestial Sapien. It didn't make him as strong as every other Celestial Sapien. You get the point? Just because you're as strong as a certain criteria or a certain tier of something does not mean that you are as strong or stronger than everybody else occupying that tier. You understand what I'm saying? So in short, just because Ben 10 can copy Goku's Saiyan DNA, it does not mean he'll automatically be able to use his abilities, call forth upon ki, or even throwing a punch without throwing away massive amounts of energy. These are all things Ben would have to be privy to before he even gets hold of Goku's DNA. So again, the minute he does, he might end up actually making the fight worse for himself. So yeah, nah, in truth, Goku shits on Ben 10, Alien X, the whole nine. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why this even became a topic in the first place, but, you know, people and their misinformed tangents. Anyways, been your boy Historic. Be good people. I'm out. Peace.